All right, rolling out on a Friday. No conflict Friday, no arguing today between Willie and I. It's all going to be friendly. Treasure Island. We just spent about, 10 minutes breaking down some of the hot dog contest. Oh, we'll do another half an hour. That's just who we are. Very important sport, very important sport. We are less than 60 days away from kickoff. Summer blows by. Football is basically year-round. UNLV will kick off on August 31st in Houston. We've been previewing the team with the position coaches each and every week, and this week we want to talk about the running backs, and Cornell Ford is in with Cofield and Willie. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How you doing?
We're good. Did you get to actually enjoy 4th of July, or is this whole football thing turned into like every single day of the year?
Well, we did do a little football yesterday. Just had a couple players over, but we did have some time just to chill a little bit, and just me and the wife, and enjoyed the 4th.
Nice. All right, well, let's get into this preview of the run game and the running backs and the personnel because it's changed a lot. But let's start by going back first, and let's talk about the production a year ago. Third, I guess, technically in the country in rushing touchdowns, which is amazing. 39 touchdowns. End of the year, still averaging, 170 yards per game. That sounds immensely successful, but I know you guys want to get better back there in terms of production. So tell me about last year and then things you guys want to improve on.
Well, I mean, when you start a program, you come in, you always want to try to establish the run. And we had a number of guys that helped get our run game going. And obviously we had a lot of success with getting the ball into the end zone. So I thought we had a good start. Got to do a better job of finishing down the stretch in those tough games at the end of the season. But we're happy where it started. Now we got to take that next step. And I think a lot more explosive plays are needed this year. We feel like we've got some guys that can make some plays, be every down backs, and I'm anxious to see what they do this season.
We had some small guys last year, and we're going to talk about Jet Thomas in a second. But if you look at the room and what you added to it, it's a group of big fellas, some sizable dudes. And, while Vincent Davis did a really good job last year and Courtney Reese was a good program player for years, I want you to talk about the collection here between, guys being brought in who are experienced and Michael Allen and James, and then true freshmen and Greg Burrell and Devin Green. And I don't know, man, when the little guy is Michael Allen at like 5'11", 210, that's a pretty big running back room.
Yeah, our size has gotten better. Nothing to say, nothing bad to say about last year's group because they were productive and they did what they could do. And certainly Jet coming back, and he'll be a big part of that. The most experienced guy coming back, it's sometimes surprising to me because we say Jet's experience and he's only been here for about maybe eight months. Right. But he's got a lot of playing experience and had some success last season. And then we got some bigger guys I think can come in and contribute to our game plan. And that size, I think, will help us down the stretch. The DJ Jones, who's a kid that didn't play last year, was redshirted. But I think he had a really, really good summer. He's had a really good summer. He had a really good spring and made some plays in the spring. And he's one of our bigger guys as well. And then Michael Allen, the two transfer kids coming in, Michael Allen and Kylan James, the two very athletic guys that, are looking for a second chance and second opportunity. They both bring a lot of ability to the table. And then our two high school kids are really going to be pretty good football players. And both one has been here, was here in the spring, and the other one just got here. Greg Burrell, the local kid. I thought he had a really good spring and getting his feet wet and learning. Learns really well, picks up things fast, and very athletic. But still got a ways to go. Yep. And the other young man, Devin Green, is going to be a guy that I think down the road is going to really, really help us as well. Very athletic. But he's been here for a couple of weeks, and he's just still trying to learn the system. So we got a lot of potential, and I think the explosive plays in this group, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, Burrell got a lot of action in the spring game. He was very active in practice. When you see a freshman running back come in, what are a couple of things you look for? And you're like, they got to have this. And then when you see it, you're like, okay, we might have something here. Maybe they get the kind of playing time and action that a guy like Jet Thomas got. What do you need to see from freshmen?
Well, every freshman that I recruit, I tell them all the same. I mean, I'm looking for an every down guy, guy that can obviously be special with the ball in his hands, but can he block? Can he be physical and protect the quarterback? And can he catch the ball out of the backfield? And those, I think, if the more you can do all three of those things, the quicker you can find yourself getting on the football field. Obviously, you got to be able to pick up our system, and learning from that perspective is always tough for freshmen coming from high school. And but the quicker you can do that, learning the game and learning our system, and then just being physical, more than anything else, is can you physically handle the heat? Are you strong enough to be able to do it? Some guys just aren't developed, and they're not strong enough to play as freshmen. And some will show you that they're tough enough. They might not be strong enough, but they're tough enough, and they're willing to stick their face in and sometimes get their rear end kicked, but they show you that they've got that effort and that toughness about themselves, that they can get themselves on the field and do some special things. So I think the group's a pretty good group.
Speaking with Cornell Ford, UNLV running back coach here on Cofield & Company, ESPN Las Vegas. So, Cornell, I'm going to play devil's advocate, someone who's been here for a long time, seen a lot of UNLV football programs, seen successful ones, but I've never, or I don't want to say never, but it's very rare I see back-to-back. And last year the talk was that the conference was down. Why is this year going to be different in that UNLV can repeat in terms of being a contender?
Wow, that's a question. That's a challenge. I think kids have done the work and done all the things that we've asked them to do. But this year is I think will be different, just because I think that the competition is different and it's probably a little tougher. The first test is a great test for us. I think it'll say a lot about us and our program. Can you go on the road in someone else's backyard and play football, regardless if they're good or not good, which I think Houston will be good. They've got a lot of changes there. But anytime you go on the road, particularly in Big 12 country, that'll say a lot about how mature we are, how physical we are, and can you play and make tough plays down the stretch on the road. It's always the toughest thing to do, I think. And, we were able to do that this past season. And now the challenge is, can we come out the gate doing it? So, but I like the group, but I like where they're at, and I like what they work, their work ethic this spring and this summer so far. But you never really know until the real bullets start flying. So we'll see what we got.
A guy who is an asset for the student athletes to look up to. He's a great mentor. I've known him since he played at UNLV, being Hunky Cooper. How is he an asset to the other coaches?
Well, I say this. I don't know what what he does with the other coaches. I know for me, anything and everything that I've ever needed since I've been here, my short stay here, is I'll always go down and knock on his door. I call him Mr. Vegas. Mr. Vegas has always come through for me.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have the answer, he can find the answer. And I think he's such a valuable asset for our program. And man, I'm so happy that he's here and he's helping us, because without him, it would be really tough.
One more question for you on the coaching staff. So I'm curious about Brennan Marion. I know that he's become the fascination across America with, as far as OCs are concerned. And during the offseason, I see plenty of highlights. I know that he shares them on his social media. And I'm not knocking the guy, but what I'd like to know is, with a young mind like that and knowing his aspirations are to become a head coach, I ask you again, playing devil's advocate, why can we believe that he's not believing the headlines that are out there about him, and he's bought in for the philosophy of this program?
Wow. Well, I think this is of Coach Marion. He understands our challenge that we're trying, where we're trying to go. And I thought we had a really good meeting probably about 2 weeks ago. He walked in and he set the standard. And I was so impressed. By far the best meeting I think he's had since I've been here with our squad. And he challenged them. He just flat out said, we need to do more. We need to see more. We need to see older kids in the building. And he set the standard and challenged our guys. And so I don't believe he's reading the headlines. I think he understands exactly where we are and what we're trying to get done. as a staff, and he's meeting the challenge. So, and I think that set the standard for the rest of the staff as well, which we're all there. We all understand what we want. You know, getting there is one thing, but now you got to be able to finish. And I think if anything, that's the underlying word of our program this year is how you finish.
You can get your tickets at UNLVtickets.com. We're talking to Cornell Ford, the running backs coach for the Rebel football program. First home game is against Utah Tech, and the opener on the road against Houston. You can get 3-game packs. Single game tickets are up. Season tickets are up. Start as low as $150. Last one, and I'll counter a little bit what Willie was saying on Brennan Marion. My sense in what you guys got to run last year was that you really didn't get to run everything you wanted to, because I still feel like in the go-go that the edge is important for the quarterback and RPOs are important. And I thought Maeva did a good job, but he's a big guy. He can run a little bit. Tell me what the mix of quarterbacks, we're talking about the two new guys, what they can do for you as the running back coach in terms of opening up the run game, because both of them can get downhill, and I think they're more true runners in Sluka and Haj Malik than, say, Maeva was.
No doubt. They are. I think they will add a lot to our offense. Anytime you can have a quarterback that can extend plays, and then you can also design plays that keeps defenses honest, makes them have to play the whole field, and that certainly helps your run game. And so they are going to greatly help, the running back position, the running backs out of the room. And I think the guys that we brought in, they bring a different dimension to what we did last year. So from that perspective, it's defense is going to have a little bit more to chew on, a little bit more to try to figure out what we're trying to present on the field. So it's going to be, I think it'll be exciting.
Well, we're excited to see it. Excited to see you in a couple of weeks when camp opens up. Appreciate your time on this Friday, and we'll talk to you, okay?
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
There he is, Cornell Ford. Really, really productive run game a year.